Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Talking Cheap with Kiana J. I was trying to get some extra time. That's all it was.
We did good. Oh, 2 minutes later now.
I do apologize for the inconvenience, y'all. We are running late today, but we are here. Thank y'all for tuning in. I am your host, Kiana J., your favorite bartender at 42nd Street Bar and Grill. Kiki, do you love me? All back, no ass with a little pump, just a little bit. And then also I have my co-host in the building.
Treese Marie, drop the toxic.
Yes, indeed. And we have 3 guests in the building today. So this episode is it's a 2-parter. What we're doing is a depression episode. We decided to go in a little deeper into this podcast with a few things that I think we should talk about nowadays in our community that people don't openly talk about. So depression is one of them. Everybody has a situation or probably went through a situation or had a time in their life where they're depressed. So we're going to get into that. First, as y'all know, we do the liquor segment. I am drinking some wine, some Ciroc. We got some Hennessy, Remy, and then waters for people who don't drink. Okay. Huh? I clean mine.
Do that. That's why you drink water and cranberry juice.
Okay. So let me introduce the guests. Well, the guests will introduce themselves. I have here next to me. Please speak into your mic and introduce yourself.
My name is Sean.
Sean, and who we have next?
Mario the Poet.
Mario the Poet. Okay. And who we have?
Simeon, aka King Simi.
King Simi. Okay. Thank y'all for.
He's looking like one over there.
Thank y'all for being very nice dressed, lady. Yes. Thank y'all for being a guest on my show. I appreciate it. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with me, so I do appreciate that. So let's get started. Basically, what we're doing is trying to get into some of, like I said, I want to know what men think some of the times, and we don't get a chance to hear how they feel or if they're going through certain things because they don't talk about it. And depression is one of them. And I do have a few friends that do go through depression, but they cover it in masks and try to act like they don't have any problems. So that's why I want to do this episode. So this week will be our men's episode. Next week will be our women's episode. Okay. So I'm going to start with Sean. Sean, I know you from the bar, so I don't know like what really we talk here and there about some things, but you was telling me that you did have some depression issues. When and where did that start?
It kind of started, it started at 20 when my granddad died.
Okay.
When my granddad died, I went through a whole bunch of like different feelings, and I ain't know exactly like how to express it.
Deal with the grief.
Yeah,
of
so
everything.
it's like I shut down. Like I
Was
just shut down.
Was you very close to your granddad?
Yeah, like that was
Okay.
mine.
Okay. So with that being said,
You gonna have a red mic, you better use it.
please next time give her a red mic.
I was saying she on that red mic.
With that being said, was it a start of a downfall?
Yeah,
or
that was a downfall for me.
that
Because once I shut down, I started doing a whole bunch of stuff that I usually wouldn't do. I ended up catching a case, going to jail. I wasn't able to be there for my son being born. A whole bunch of crazy stuff. But then that's when I found Islam. So
I did not know that.
yeah, so that's when I started doing that, and things just started picking up from praying, being able to feel like I'm part of something.
Yeah.
You know, that helped me out a lot. Like I'm still quiet now, but it helped me out a lot. Let's put it like that.
That is a blessing. You know what?
Wow.
And a lot of people don't understand that it takes sometimes religion or something to bring you up out of that. So that no matter what you believe in, you know, that is I appreciate that. Hey Webby. Okay.
Wait, so you said that happened when you were 20. How old are you now?
I'm 32 now.
Okay. So yeah, you had
I think
time
I'm
to figure
32.
it out.
Okay. So we're gonna
Just didn't want. I'm a big guy and I breathe heavy. So if I sit with my head forward, I'll be breathing in the mic. I didn't want to do that.
I'm gonna go with you with the same information. Do you have a situation or
That was the onset of my depression, or when I recognized it.
when you recognize?
Recognize.
Let's go there.
I've always been depressive. I've always been inward facing when I deal with trauma. So probably when my grandfather died when I was a kid was the first time I realized that I had a problem processing pain, because I was distraught in the way that my other family members weren't. They cried, but I was inconsolable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So when I got divorced in 2005, and she left with the kids, it was a lot of lonely nights, and then those nights start to drift into days, and then a week's gone, and then a month's gone, and it kind of progressed into the point where I had to go to the doctor and tell him, like, I'm not, other than going to work, I'm not getting out of the bed. So he put me on the Prozac, and it didn't really.
Prozac do not help black people.
It really didn't
Put that
work
out
for me.
there.
Just make your mouth dry all the time. And
Prozac, that's for white folks. I'm sorry. I love my white
it
people.
helps people, but I don't know if I
Nah,
would say.
but-
Nobody tried therapy.
I tried therapy initially. Oh, I'm sorry. I tried therapy initially, but like, I had a problem with white therapists because I also have a manipulative personality. And so I get in a situation, I'm trying to prove something to them instead of actually working on myself. And so I ended up masking a lot of the stuff because it was easier to get through I want to do well in the therapy session. I don't want to tell her what's really going on. But it's really just about how I process pain in general. But
I never heard of
No, that's
say
very
that
honest.
before.
That's very honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I never heard a man say that before.
I know a lot of
and
people
that's some honest stuff, because that's usually what they need to say but don't say.
Mhm.
You know. And
it took a long way to get here, though, Femo. It took a long time. I started doing poetry, and that was really what made me start looking inward and trying to take responsibility for stuff. But a lot of times, it's nobody at fault. Depression is how I process pain. When I go through something, I don't. I turn into myself, and I try to fight that. You know what I mean? Like, my mom died 4 years ago. And I went through like a year where I wouldn't get out to bed. You know what I mean? And what was the hardest part about it for me was like that feeling of isolation feeds on itself. So you already don't feel like anybody cares, and then you start sitting by yourself, and now there's nobody around caring, to the point where you start to like have these crazy thoughts. Like, I've contemplated suicide on numerous occasions, but I'm saying,
That's my story right there.
but I'm not saying that. I'm saying that because that I would do it. I'm saying I know that it's crazy, and I learned in coping that you have to remind yourself that sounds crazy, because if you don't, you'll keep going down that hole.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. Okay, King Simeon.
I'm 23.
You 23 right now?
Yeah.
With that flavor you got?
Where else would it be 23?
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute.
You're 23.
Hey,
Oh my goodness.
hey, I uppercut. I swing upward. Nah, but
There's hope.
yeah, I swing upward. But no, I would say it started in like high school, I guess. But I never really looked at depression as the end all be all. Like he said, it's a way of not necessarily coping, but you turn inward. A lot of people need to see, hey, like where am I at fault in a lot of my like situations in life? Where am I at fault in a lot of the things that I've been blaming people for? You know what I'm saying? So depression is, for me, it allowed me to think to myself. It allowed me to be like, you know what? Why am I feeling like this? Because me personally, I'm a empathetic person, and I'm a sapiosexual. So I'm attracted as a woman, I'm attracted to like intelligence and stuff like that. So me being 23, it's not a lot of women like that in my generation. I'm gonna be honest with you. So
I was 23. Hell to the no.
So I'm very mature. So it's just like the things that I wanted in life just didn't. It wasn't gonna happen at that age. It still is like very rare for it to happen now, and I'm 23. So it's just depression allowed me to think to myself and be one with myself and my surroundings, because it allowed me to help other people going through it. I think it's necessary for some people to go through it, because me personally, like I said, I just want to change the world is where I always had my dream. So, I've just been having conversations with people lately. Like, some people have to go through it if they're strong enough to get out of it, so they can help other people who aren't. So I definitely think depression is a very serious thing. I think a lot of people should get different ways. Like, there's no one way to fix it. Therapy isn't for everybody. Talking isn't for everybody.
And speaking of, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you good.
With the talking situation, do you feel you're not a talker?
Oh no, I'm a communicative person. Like,
okay.
For me personally, like that's my love language. Like,
right.
Quality time, and I need to be able to communicate. Like, I'm a sapiosexual. I can't love a person that can't talk, because I don't know what the hell is going on in your mind.
Right.
Like, especially now, like it's some shady people out. So I need to know what's going on in your mind, and the only way to know what's going on in your mind is to come out of your mouth,
right?
Like, or your actions. So I'm a very communicative person. I think a lot of people believe that once a man or a person is depressed, they can't talk about it. Or
they just choose not to talk about it.
I feel like they don't choose. They don't
That's
choose not to talk
They
about it because
choose
people
not to
judge
talk
you.
about it.
As a man, I agree
judge.
with that. I'm only 23, and I've already realized.
It don't have to do with a man or a woman. Just if you.
I'm just speaking for myself.
They judge you just off you saying you're depressed.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, as a man, only being 23, I've already realized the reason a lot of men shut down, and the reason women believe that a lot of men are closed-minded is because when that man opens his mouth, he doesn't really get heard.
Boys aren't trained to speak emotionally. That's why men don't communicate their feelings, because boys don't talk about their feelings. And you don't teach boys to talk about their feelings, and so they don't. And boys are taught that being emotional makes you less than a man. Being emotional, man. So I'm 40-something, and I didn't learn to cry until I was in my 30s. Like, in front of people, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm good. But at 23, a lot of the work is already done because you done got over yourself. You know what I mean? And a lot of men have ambitions, and they identify themselves by what it is they do. So, where you're at compared to your peers, right?
I agree.
And so then what you end up doing is making value judgments on yourself on the basis of what other people doing. And then you get confused with what reality is. And then you're depressed again.
That's very real right now, like in the social media era. So I fully agree with you on that, because a lot of my peers will see somebody like, oh, this dude got this. Or like, for me personally, I got 10 businesses. So a lot of people my age be like,
are you Jamaican too?
No, I just do a lot. Like I said, I want to change the world. So I do a lot. People look at me like, they'll look at my Instagram or my Clubhouse or whatever the case is, and they'd be like, why is he 23 doing all this? And people 23, 25, 30 aren't even like thinking outside the box. Together. Exactly. Not even thinking outside the box.
Trying to get their life together.
Some people don't have the skills to get their life together. Everybody's not meant for rocket science or to change the world. Some people get a factory job and live out their life. The problem is when you got somebody with ambition that comes across somebody that wants to stay stagnant and they try to stop them from doing what it is they doing. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so let me ask you this question. You like Clubhouse? I'm sorry, sidebar. It sounds like the phone, like I'm older. The phone line, like
Well, see, I got AirPods, so I can put them in and listen and talk while I'm working. So I'm a workaholic. So I'll never stop working for doing what I'm doing.
I just got on Clubhouse.
And helping
I
people.
do a pre-podcast there before each podcast I do today to get ideas and what people think.
Yeah, so it's definitely
audio.
helpful. It's definitely helpful.
Yeah, I think it's helpful.
Yeah, it's helpful, and I bring it to the show because simple fact is, right now you just see people typing and stuff. I need to hear what you're thinking about the topic. So yeah, I like it. You know, I go into other groups and stuff and listen to them.
Yeah, it's definitely helped me help people.
Group today, listening to them because I was cracking up. It's funny. Some of it's funny, and some of it is very. And it's networking.
It depends on it depends on what you're looking for. I'm only on it for networking.
You have your other pages tagged to it. They just click on it and go right to it.
No, y'all remember on the internet there used to be video chat rooms, and everybody would go in there. I think people still do it.
No, I'm from Chicago.
In the Midwest.
I'm from Chicago.
No, on the phone, but I'm talking about on the internet. Yeah, on the phone. I'm talking about on the internet. They used to have video chat rooms.
They used to have it on Facebook one upon a time, but then
I forget what it's called. Start with a T. Start with a T. But yeah, so that's what
they don't have that no more.
Yeah, they still got it. In Kansas and Kentucky, they still be using
I was getting blocked
and wearing
I just
FUBU
said forget it.
to the club. but no, it's interesting because it's good to stay busy, especially when you're depressed. It's good to stay busy. It's good to be ambitious. Ambition is what drives the world and keeps things moving forward. I just worry that we judge people. Everybody not bright, man. We got to know that. Everybody not bright. Everybody ain't meant to be a rocket scientist. You know,
you don't have to be bright to be rich, though.
No, you don't.
That's what I'm.
Floyd Mayweather is the
exactly. So let's.
You got to get bright people around you. You got to know how to identify people that want to be success minded. But everybody's not. Because
the richest people are the dumbest. I have the money. No, I have the money to hire somebody smarter than me. You see what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with.
But they were born in. Everybody's not born into privilege. You know what I'm saying? You have to have. It takes money to make money.
It don't matter. It don't matter to me. I don't.
But you got that hustle inside
exactly.
you. 21 with 18 jobs.
You got to understand.
Not built like that.
It's your background though. That's where depression comes from. I tell people this all the time. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So if you use if you want to use everyone else as a blame, and this goes back to depression, if you want to blame your parents, your society, I'm from Chicago. I'm from K-Town. That is one of the worst parts of Chicago.
West Side.
One of the worst parts of Chicago.
Okay.
All you have to say is K-Town, and people be like, "You from?" So I get that, but whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So if you use everybody else as an excuse, you'd be like, my mom did this, my pops did this, my family didn't do this. And this is why a lot of Black people have problems talking about mental health issues is because their parents don't understand, or their parents think like, oh,
it makes them weak.
Yeah.
It's judgment.
It's always judgment.
Everybody's worried about what other people think and what other people might say. Let's be real life. Like we're not finna. If we didn't care about what people thought about us or what people say, people would be more freely and open to speaking their mind and saying what's on their minds. But because things are so this way, you need to be this way. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, you shouldn't say that. Oh, keep this in the household. This don't go nowhere else. Or you don't know what children are being abused. You don't know what children are going through. And then that goes up into your depression too, as being an adult. And that's what I'm saying. People ain't able to speak what they need to speak because either you're scared or you're worried about what other people are going to think.
I agree, because I only started speaking my mind probably 6 years ago when I hit 30. I'm like, fuck this shit. Like, no. You have to. If you don't, you won't be happy within yourself.
You have to. Sometimes you have to portray the image. Now you got some people out here that don't care what people think. I envy those. I envy them people because
I don't care.
That's why you my co-host. I told Martell that the other day. I said I chose Treese to be my co-host.
But when did you get to that point? Like when you guys are not older, but you have the maturity.
I got there when I was 30. I was depressed as hell. I got laid off. I didn't have no money. I felt like my spouse wasn't supporting me. So I felt like I got on Facebook and I just started speaking my mind. And people was like, even if they didn't comment on the stat, they inboxed me like, I can relate to that. And then I had to figure out a way, instead of being angry, I turned it into laughter. So I had people hit me up like, if it wasn't for you making a post on Facebook, my day wouldn't be nothing.
And that's exactly why I said the people who go through the bad things help other people.
And I'm like, who am I? But I'm like, if I could help somebody within my struggle, that made me feel great. And that what got me out of depression at one point years ago.
Yeah, mine is a little deeper, but that's here and there.
But it's the what I'm saying with depression is not I don't know, man. I can only speak for myself. Depression is not a condition. It's not like the flu or a cold.
No.
It's not something. It's the way that I deal with trauma, being inward facing. So I start to take it out on myself, and then I don't want to engage with people. I said this already. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I feel like I'm all alone, so I make myself all alone, and then I look up and I'm all alone, so it justifies me staying alone, right? And I know that, and that's when trauma happens. And you don't never know when trauma is going to happen. You could be going along, doing fine. I got off the Prozac, start smoking reefer again, and doing the edibles, right? Because it kept me calm, right? And so then, because a lot of times, especially with black men, depression can be violence, right? Because you already geeked up all the time on the inside because something's going on that you're not talking about. And then you get in a situation where there's the mildest confrontation, you snap out because you already geeked up, right? I don't know if people talk like that still, but geeked up, you're already whatever. So I learned that the way that I process pain is through depression. So what I've learned to do is find coping mechanisms that make it easier for me to not go all the way into that deep, dark hole. I had to find things to do, either physically, play with my son, go for a walk, smoke a joint, watch a TV program. My baby mama watches The Office as a coping mechanism because it makes her laugh. When she was going through the hardest period in her life, it was the one thing that can make her laugh. So now that's the coping mechanism. I know if I come in and she watching that, to leave her alone because she's dealing with something. She might not want to talk. And then what's really will make it even worse when you're a man, especially, and you got a woman that care about you, she get to look at you all in the face talking about, well, just talk to me. I don't want to. You know what I mean? And it starts to make it worse. Now you start lashing out. Now y'all arguing because you don't want to talk. And then you like, well, it's just who I am. Now the people around you got to learn about your depression. But a lot of that you got to own, like you said, got to take ownership of yourself and go, man, I don't want to fight with her. Why am I yelling?
In a relationship, communication
is key.
Because some people, I learned, they don't understand what depression is. They've never been through it. So you have to talk.
They don't know how to articulate it. I think they've probably been through it. They just don't know how to articulate it.
You have to talk to your mate about it.
Boys are not taught how to process pain.
Do you communicate? I don't think so.
He shook his head. He didn't even say no. He's like,
you shy though.
I'm gonna tell you why I know he don't communicate. Trying to be at the bar and ask, I'm a bartender. He's the cook in the bar, okay? And he'll come to the bar and ask me for a drink. Mm-hmm. Now he has his head down and he'll look up and he'll whisper the drink. And I say, what? And he'll whisper.
I was the same way.
I say, what?
I was the same way.
You talk soft.
You single?
No.
Now you talk soft, but that's a person that don't communicate right.
No, I don't.
When you get you a woman, you look for a woman that's gonna tell you, hold your head up high, speak loud, make sure something. It don't matter. You a man.
I don't never talk loud. Like,
oh man, don't talk loud.
But like you just said, he at the party.
I'm just saying he could be a little more.
I didn't say aggressive, but
at that time you can tell he was probably going
at
through
that
something.
time. I'm gonna be serious with y'all. At that time, I was going through a whole.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's why I said when his head was down, I said that for a reason because I learned the people that I work with. And one day he okay, and then one day you know when he's not okay.
Because you
So,
process. Because you process it.
I pay
What
attention
you
to
want.
everybody.
Yeah.
I make it a point to pay attention to the people.
That's
that
a
I'm
good
around.
servant. Gold star, fellow. Gold star.
But
She's very good at the
I
job.
believe it. She seems
She
very
cussed
personal.
me out plenty of times. I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
But at that, do you feel like you think you need to communicate a little bit better
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah,
to
that's,
get
that's,
the
where
things out that you need to get out?
that's why I started seeing a therapist.
Did it help?
It's helping now. I had to switch it up because I had the same problem.
Some people do. Right.
I ain't want to fuck it. I ain't want to talk to no white person about my
Right.
problems.
Right.
Hey, this
Right.
They
is
can't
So-
relate. They
This is-
can't
I wanna
relate.
got me
my
a
therapist
black
is
therapist.
black. My therapist is
A white
definitely black.
therapist cannot relate. I had a
I don't know if that's
couple
true.
of them. Then I had one with one eye. I said, I definitely can't talk to you because
You
you can't even see me face to face.
So what I'm saying is, brother, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. You need help. Let me ask you this. When you started therapy, did you connect with the therapist? Was that it?
It took a while.
It's
It took
always
a
gonna take a
while.
while.
It
I
took a
don't
while
think
for me to
anybody
get
dealing with
comfortable.
something is going to immediately connect. with the
My
therapist.
beginning therapy session was horrible.
Yeah,
Because
that's not
in the beginning,
Mhm.
oh baby, bye.
because you're not used to it. Like you're not used to
Andre,
opening
Yeah.
up.
I wanted to call
Why
that
in the
man,
black
oh,
community? What your grandma say? You don't talk about your problems outside of this house. You keep it in
You
the
feel
house.
uncomfortable,
You-
right?
Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's part of like
Problem, right.
in the house. A lot of black people for generations have been
That's
taught to
why
keep
the
it in the
circle
house.
keep going.
It's not even a circle. It's literally a metaphor.
It's a
You're
circle.
taught to keep it in the house.
Mhm.
So why do you think that black people now can never actually express their problems? And then when they do, they only express it in a negative way,
Right.
especially in
Yeah.
music. Like you can hear somebody crying out, but all you hear is bees and like that's you know what I'm saying. Like you see it, but the way that it comes out is not necessarily productive. So when somebody receives it, their reaction is not necessarily going to be productive. So that's why you have that cycle of people who are depressed feel like they have nobody to talk to because they don't realize, damn, I'm not actually communicating the right way. A therapist is paid to take your shit, bro. A therapist is paid to be like, okay, you can talk to me however you want to talk to me. You can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna do that to me. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Right.
I'm here to help, but you're not like I do a food pantry. I give people free food. I had an old man come to me for free food now at a church. We own a church. Cuss me out at the church. I almost lost my witness. He's cussing me out in my face, telling me blah blah blah, cussing me out. I'm like, you came here so I can give you free food, and I'm like, you know what, God. I always wanted to be a therapist and help people, but when you actually realize what it takes to help people,
Right.
you need God to help you because I'm not there yet, Jesus. So I'm gonna need you to take this box and give it to this man. Because if I give this box to this man, he gonna catch a 2-piece with it. Okay. So I'm just saying, like a lot of people, like we gotta realize, like we gotta give better like communication, and I think like it has to come in the household because if we can't talk about it.
With that being said, if you had a woman, all men that's sitting at this table, if you had a woman in your life, I'm not saying you don't or do,
Yes, ma'am.
but if she was to force the issue of trying to see, say you having a bad day and you going through some stuff, and she trying to see what the issue is to talk to her, but you pushing her away because you don't want to talk. How do you go about that? Like, don't you think that makes the relationship a little bit
It definitely does.
timid? Like, because now
On either side, like it don't even matter if you're a man. Like just lack of communication causes a bridge in a relationship.
I was in a situation where it was just like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. But you bring it. I'm an energy person. You bringing that energy into our home. So at the end of the day, we gonna figure out. Let's readjust this energy here because I'm not finna have you all cranky and walking around slamming doors.
It's
And,
gonna turn you cranky. It's like when somebody yawn, like you just
exactly.
like you
Energy
just it's
rubs
just
off.
off.
It
Yeah.
rubs off. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Confrontation is so I don't know, man. It's just conversation is real interesting for me. Confrontation is not always the way to solve me being not wanting to talk. That's not you yelling at me is just gonna make me want to yell. Now we fighting for no reason. So you have to know
your
right. You have to know the person you with well enough to know when what you call it, they love language, and some people just need to be left alone sometimes.
or their form of communication. Like not everybody communicates the same.
That's
You know,
what love,
like yeah.
love language. Yeah.
No, I mean, like no, you don't have to.
No,
be,
I had
that's what-
You
somebody-
can't even say, babe, give me a minute.
I
Just
had
give me a
somebody
minute.
that would not talk to me, but
Yeah.
they would write a letter.
I used to do that.
I read it, and then I
When
just
I'm
go
too
off
mad,
what
because if I say it in
the
your
letter
face,
was.
it's gonna keep
Right.
blowing up. So it's better if I used to do that when I was in high
Okay.
school, like write it down
I
and
thought
give
that
it
was
to you.
weird.
See, I don't like
'Cause I can't.
the text message when you feel some
No,
type
it
of way.
wasn't a text. It
But
was like
I feel like
paper.
writing is like a text message. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
you can
'Cause
read a lot
can't-
into somebody's handwriting though, especially if they mad. It's a lot more too. Handwriting can be real.
because you
but I'm a
capitalize
poet.
me in a text message. I'm saying you lower your
No, text
voice.
message- yeah, I know.
Like,
It's like,
hold on, let me call
no,
you.
because they got
Let me
specialists
FaceTime
that-
you and
They
see.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it.
study handwriting, so I feel like that's
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I had somebody that
Calligraphy
write
is
letters to
styling.
me to express themselves. So
But
I got a question.
Go in, ask me,
So
please.
what do you guys feel about medication?
I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Mm-mm,
Okay, you said no.
no,
I didn't,
they tried to
You say
subscribe.
no?
It's different for everybody.
I didn't like it. It's like I said, it's different. Some people I heard
I
it was.
don't want nothing messing with my mind or my body. Period.
I've never
That's
used
just-
it, but
I can't.
some people work, some people don't. So it's different for everybody. I would never say, oh, nobody should try it. You know, I would
Some people
I would
was great.
I would talk to, you know, your actual physician. I would talk to your doctor, and then I would talk to people who have already taken it. You know, but I can't say that nobody should try it because you don't know the level
People
of
bodies
somebody's.
are different.
Yeah, you never know the
Yeah,
level
yeah.
of somebody's pain. Like that, when you get into science, it goes past the mental and it goes to the physical, the inside
When
of
you
your body.
start seeing a therapist, they do try to prescribe you.
That's the first thing they do.
Depends on what
That's the
you-
first thing they
It
most of them do.
depends on what you're diagnosed with. Like I'm diagnosed with bipolar depression. So at the end of the day, she tried to just prescribe me something, but I told her I don't feel comfortable taking anything because some fact is I don't want nobody nothing.
Did they tell
Take
you
it
what
down.
number you are though?
Huh?
Did they tell you what number you
5.
are?
So it's not that bad. It's middle.
See, I bounced back between 2 and 3.
Yeah, I'm fine. But it's a lot. With men, it's different than women, but kind of the same. You know what I'm saying? Even though y'all shaking your head,
I'm listening.
I'm trying to listen. Yeah.
y'all shaking your
I
head.
don't think
No,
it's the same.
I said kind. See, can't you catch my words? Kind
Why-
of
No,
the
why-
I don't
same.
feel like you should use kind of.
Why is it not the same?
Because we are not built the same.
We are not
No,
built the
y'all
same.
just said y'all gotta.
Most men aren't raised with the same coping
y'all don't
mechanisms, is
express
what I'm
y'all
saying.
feelings and
The
that
same.
and that.
We don't.
As a woman, I cried out for help.
But that's generalizing
But
every
see,
man.
but
Like, I'm a
generally-
communicative man.
But you gotta
Generally
understand
speaking.
me. I'm
I'm
not
very
a girly girl.
Exactly.
I'm a
Not all women are
tomboy.
the same.
So
Not all men are the same.
I do my emotions the way a man do them. Nobody knew I was depressed, but I'm around here happy, go lucky, saying Kiana, you know, smiling, making
Yeah.
everybody else smile. But
That's what I
nobody
felt
know what
about
I'm
Polar.
going through in
Right.
my home.
That's what
Nobody knows what I'm
Now
because
you
I'm
might
not
be-
speaking
you
it.
might be bipolar, though.
I said I have
Bipolar
bipolar
depression.
depression.
She just said that. You just.
I didn't hear that part.
Can we rewind? Can you bring that back?
That was awesome. That was awesome. I love you so
No,
much.
because I'm bipolar and I got depression, so that's why I said I go from 2
I
to
was
3.
diagnosed with
Okay.
bipolar depression.
And you asked her what number.
It went, hey, man, let it go.
I
Oh, man.
don't know nothing about 5. Not enough. Not enough. Trust me. I ain't had enough.
Oh, that was
No, I just
classic.
know for me, I know my numbers is 2 and 3. I
I
haven't
got you.
looked in beyond 3
Right.
because it don't pertain to me. So,
But
no.
so I process mine like a man probably would process his. That's why I
Okay.
said we kind of the same.
Okay.
I won't speak on it. Nobody would know. I have a day, like I said, I have a day one day out of the year where I actually cry in public because I held it in for so long. You know what I'm saying?
You don't have to say that outside. You don't have to say that. You do not. You don't have to say that.
And these are the people that's around me every
You
day.
ain't got to say that.
They
in
didn't
front of
know what to
everybody.
do because they don't know how to handle me. So at the end, because they don't see me in that state. I'm in a whole different state when I'm around people.
Mm-hmm.
So when they do see me in that state, nobody knew what to do.
Right.
So it was just like, what So that's why I say we kinda.
I feel like that's just a problem with society, though, because if you see, that's stupid. If you see anybody crying or anybody in pain, the first response should be to help. Period.
No, you don't know her.
Everybody not the same. That's a bad idea.
It's different with different people.
Yeah, it's a bad
Now,
idea.
if I'm sitting somewhere and a stranger pop out crying, it's easier for me to be like, "Are you okay?" than them. That I'm sitting here and I know this person, I know how this person is, and they bust out crying. Dog, I'm locked up. I don't even know what to say because I never ever seen you this way.
But I think that's the clear deciding factor that, hey, this person has been going through something.
No, I got a cousin that's batshit crazy, and he start crying, and you should probably leave the counter. he might start crying because there ain't no dog food. You know what I'm talking about? So you got to be careful. Everybody not the same. But I dig it, man. It just feel like group. Like you know what I mean. I used to, But anyways, like you do group or whatever, and you talk. It's just what it feel like. Yeah. And we all got different experiences and on different levels in our journey with depression. A poet once said, "Forgiveness is giving up all hope for a better past." And I learned how to stop living 10 years ago and be in the moment. And the more and more I get myself into the moment, the easier it is to get out of the moments when I feel like I'm losing control or that I'm feeling depressed. Get out your head, boy. Talk to people. Open your mouth. You know what I mean? Where for a lot of men, especially towering big dudes like the homies and stuff, they always told to be quiet. Shut up, man. Shh. Right. Oh, you just, and everybody piles on that. Dismisses their emotions as just being, a feminine trait. Having any emotion is a feminine trait. You acting like a girl. What you crying about? Quit acting like a girl. Man up, nigga. And when you fed that, right, for 20, 30 years, you start to believe it. And then when you find yourself in this depressive state, because something tragic happens in your life, now you like, man, I don't know how to get out of it. Best thing I can tell you is smoke a blunt. No, read a book. Try to calm down.
It was like really, really deep because I had an argument with my son, Dad, and I'm like, I'm not teaching him to be soft. I'm just teaching him to talk, show his emotions. But when it's time to be hard and defend yourself, then of course he's going to do that. But at the same time, one day he wants to have a wife. He got to know how to.
You're going to have to communicate.
You got to open up to somebody, Mario. You got to open up to somebody, Mario.
That's why relationships and marriages don't work because no communication.
You have to break the
Nobody knows how to communicate, especially when y'all going through something. It's just like, we just don't deal with it on our own. No, y'all need to deal with it together. Yeah.
And
y'all a team. That's together. When y'all stood in front of God, y'all decided to become one. So when one is feeling some type of way, the other one should feel that type of way to help you get out of that situation. Don't marry me if you can't combine with me. That's what I'm saying. You can't vibe with me. Don't do that because simple fact is I'm gonna need to talk to you. If I can't talk to you, who I'm supposed to talk to, then you get mad when I go talk to my friends. No, because I tried to talk to you first.
So we talked about love language a little bit and food. So I learned this other terminology is called FOO, F-O-O, family of origin, right? So a lot of times when you're in a marriage, you have a lot of language and way that you deal with each other that come from the family of origin, the family that you come from. Your mama, your daddy, he got his mama and his daddy, and they communicate with each other in a certain kind of way, some nonverbal, some verbal. And he expects you to understand that language when you come into the relationship. But it takes time. So as much as men have to learn how to communicate, women have to learn when we can't. Because sometimes it's not we don't want to communicate. We don't know how. Because we're not given the language of emotions.
That's why we need women.
Right. Because we're not given that. As kids, we're taught to suppress that emotion language. You're making me feel some kind of way. Stop. You understand what I'm saying? It took me forever to get to that point so where I can say that to a woman without feeling weak. Then I can say it to y'all all day. Then I'm in a relationship with. Right. You're making me feel some kind of way. Stop saying what you're saying to hurt my feelings. Right. I have feelings.
And that's all.
You know what I mean? But a lot of men are scared to do.
Say, stop doing this, stop doing
appreciate
that.
that.
Because then I can be like, damn, let me stop because I don't want to make you feel some type of way. Because if I make you feel some type of way, you're going to make me feel some
And
type
then
of
we
way.
the whole thing.
And we making each other feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? How you think these are? I just see so many arguments and bad that just go bad for no reason. And you be like, this could have been prevented just by this. You know what I'm saying? And it's so much deep rooted stuff that people don't want to get out that needs to get out. And that's why I say, even though y'all say therapy don't work for everybody, it should, because I think people should talk to people. And it's people
I do it
that
through my
know.
writing though, but for me, I did it through my writing because I couldn't handle therapy because I'm too manipulative. You understand what I'm saying? I have a manipulative personality, and I get into the therapy session, and I'm trying to impress the therapist, and I'm not being genuine. I'm saying whatever I feel like she want to hear in the moment. You understand what I'm saying?
Instead of you just letting go and
but
be
I
free.
had a therapist say,
Because I'm talking to somebody, and I don't want to see. I don't.
so,
So what is
I
the point
can't-
of paying for a therapist if
Again,
you're
that's why I
not
stopped.
going?
That's why
No,
I stopped.
that's a normal thing. Like when you go to the doctor, you don't tell the doctor what's like.
True.
It's an actual mental thing. Ask a psychologist. When you go to the doctor, you don't tell the doctor what's wrong with you. Even if you could have had something in your side paining you for 2 weeks, you go to the doctor.
Okay.
What's wrong with you? I'm okay. It's your damn fault that you keep being sick. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's a real
my
thing.
therapist
It's a
told
real
me,
thing.
You go home, because I was going once a week, you're going to write down how you feel every day. And you're going to bring me that what you wrote down for the week. So the same thing, like you said, you don't want to talk to a therapist, but you wrote it down. I said I don't feel comfortable talking to you because now you want to talk about my mama and all this and that. I don't want to talk about that. But he said I got to, right? But I didn't feel comfortable, so I wrote it down. He read it, and then that's how he broke my barrier down. So that's probably what you got to do.
I have a
Can I read a
question.
poem?
I have a question. What if your significant other asks you those questions that you don't want to talk about? What if he asks you about your mom? What if he asks you to be? Because this is what I'm getting to when I say a lot of men grow up learning to not talk because he can't even. That's what I'm saying. You haven't met a man to actually get to that deep point. Because when I meet a woman, I have to know that shit. I have to know that because when we get married and I grow up and I have to meet your parents or we are parents and then that stuff comes out, that's why a lot of marriages end because we can't have those conversations. Me personally, I have to have those conversations previously. If you've never had those conversations with somebody, you'll never know what you can and can't open up about. I'm just saying, think about it because this is why a lot of like relationships, I won't say turn sour, but when you stop communicating, if I meet a woman, I'm trying to communicate. I'm not necessarily trying to be her therapist, but I'm just trying to get it out so I can understand. You know what I'm saying? And if I can't understand it, it's the same thing with a woman and she's trying to figure out what's wrong with her man and he's not talking. He's not talking. That then drives a bridge between her. So now she got an attitude because he got an attitude and he can't communicate that so she can fix it. Because women just want to fix it. Like a good woman want to fix a problem with her man.
For some reason, I just love to try to fix you. I don't know why.
I think that's our human
I don't
nature,
know
though.
why. Like a man can be in his most depressed state, ain't got nothing. I just be one. I love a vulnerable man. At the end of the day, because it just because
I'm screaming. I can't.
I can't. She's been sitting here the whole night, man. It's been. You just anyway.
I tried that, but if you a bum, you a bum.
Listen, everybody's not prepared going into a relationship to exercise those demons because relationships are benchmarks in people's lives, just like the scale with the ambition. I need to be married. I'm generally speaking. I'm not saying any one person specifically, but generally speaking, most people are unhealthy. Most people have psychological problems.
That's the reason they're benchmarks, though.
I
Like
see
if you
all
meet the
Asian
right
comments.
person and you're not ready for that, you see what I'm saying?
I'm listening.
If you are the right person and somebody meets you and they're not ready, then they're gonna end up messing up you. That's what I'm saying. That's why a lot of people think of it as benchmarks because we're all unhealthy. So if you meet an unhealthy person, you might be the perfect person for that person.
I'm listening.
But they're not ready at that point. Life is a cycle, and everybody like I'm 23 and I'm at the point of a 30, 40
she got a fat ass, man.
Oh my
it's hard
goodness.
to
I
ignore.
don't
I know I'm not ready, but did you see those jeans?
Some people not ready to be fixed. And I put a post up not too long ago. It's what was it? It say some people stay depressed, or some people be depressed, stay depressed for attention. Some
That's true.
Some people just don't want to be fixed, and some people are not ready to be fixed because they depression or whatever they going through is for attention, and they don't want to fix that.
I don't want to be.
Some people love a pity party. Some people just
attention.
They don't
want to fix. If I didn't get my life together, I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen, because at the end of the day, my life, it looks good. It was looking good on the outside, but on the inside, I was fucked up. And nobody understood. I can't talk to my friends. I got a friend that say, suck it up. Everybody got problems. You know what I'm saying? You got
that's not a good friend.
I cut them off that said suck it up.
You got some that, you know what I'm saying, and then you got some that I feel like people look at me a certain way where I can't be vulnerable to people, and that's why
that.
Well, you gotta be strong for everybody.
I gotta be strong for everybody else.
I had somebody say,
that's me. I'm the oldest of all my siblings.
I'm human. Who don't have feelings?
You know,
I had somebody ask me that, like, you got feelings? What?
Nobody asked me how I'm doing. Nobody asked me, am I tired? Nobody asked me none of this stuff. So at the end of the day, you know, it's just like, I'm here for everybody else, and I don't mind it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm here to help. That's what I'm here for. I'm that friend. But at the same time, do anybody ask me? No. So I don't offer.
No.
How do you get comfortable with that? I'm just saying, how do you get comfortable with that? Because that's in essence. I'm saying that's in essence
my normal life.
I'm just saying that's in essence of what the therapist is. That's what I'm saying. Like if
I spend most of my time alone. I live alone. I spend most of my time alone. So when we went out on our girls' day, that's the only time I have with my friends is when I go out with my girls' day, or I need my family time, so I drive to Chicago, or I just, you know, call somebody for just to have a he conversation.
Reading that book, and it said, like, write some things about your flaws or whatever. One thing, even though I know we talking about it later, I said I strive to be a better mother, because I feel like I'm lacking in it. I may be a good one to my kids, but I know in myself I can be a better one. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's always something that you can fix about yourself. Yeah, maybe people don't see it on the outside, but you see it.
But on the inside,
yourself, yeah.
On the inside, 2000. Let me tell you, and I'm gonna be honest, and I'll say this right now: 2020 was the year that I realized that I have a real problem.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What's your problem?
With depression, you mean?
No, depression started
overall
2 years ago, where I had to go see a therapist where I almost killed myself. Okay. But 2020 is where I came into me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Where I started to love me. Mm-hmm. And it took a while to get there. I didn't love myself. I thought what everybody thought about me, that's what I thought about myself. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got friends call me fat all the time. And I took that personal, even though I laughed it off, but I took it personally. You know what I'm saying? So I started losing weight rapidly. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, you have to come into yourself, and I'm still working on that. And therapy helps me.
I say this about my mom. She used to do that. Like, we would go to the mall and somebody would compliment her outfit, and she would wear that compliment around her neck until somebody said something insulting, and then it would crush her. She have an attitude. As we used to talk about, you know, you got to stop worrying about what other people got to say. If you think you look cute, then you look cute. Exactly. But saying that to somebody who identifies other people's opinion as the righteous opinion, it's difficult. That's how I used to do. It's hard to communicate it to them because they don't know what you mean. Like, but I appreciate this conversation in general because it's just like I said, it's earlier. It's showing me how many everybody on different level. Would they walk with the whole thing? I worry about.
Go ahead, Dad. Hold on, we got a question. Go ahead, Dad. Davin, if you still on here. Yeah, you're like, I have a question. It was so many Some people like attention so they can feel wanted. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. Asia Love, you have so many. I'm sorry, baby. They didn't come up on the screen. Did you put?
They did.
Oh.
I haven't even been paying attention.
I was into this conversation.
I'm
No,
trying to
I'm
hear.
sorry, y'all.
I'm
I do.
intrigued because I never heard
Men talk
like
about
this,
it,
you know
and
what I'm
then
saying?
that's why I
Yeah.
wanted to do the men's one because
Yeah.
I know Sean. I was gonna do a all together one episode, and then Tone posted it, and then Sean he volunteered.
Mm.
He was like, "I want to do this."
But I feel like it's good for him because he's laid back, timid, and with these two outspoken men, that can help.
Oh, I'm the same way.
I'm not
Don't
very-
get it
You've
wrong.
been talking.
Don't get it wrong. I'm the same way. It's
Quarantine is
but
helping
that's
this
see that's the
conversation.
thing. That's how people perceive you.
Right.
So when somebody tells you how you are, like I can tell you how I am, but you still won't believe it because you see how I walk, you see how I talk, you see how I dress, you see how I articulate myself.
Well,
So it's
yeah,
not necessarily
yeah.
depression necessarily isn't a single person problem. It's the problem with the people around you because you grab that energy. And that's all I'm trying to say. We need to stop grabbing the energy ourselves. And I'm saying like if each one of you guys can go back 10, 15 years, you would tell yourself that.
Right.
So that's the only reason I'm saying that this generation, the older generation and the generation before this one needs to actually have more conversations like this so that people going through this right now or people who are about to go through this can be like, you know what? I am strong. I am beautiful. I am this. I am that. Because nobody else is like, that's what I'm saying. Nobody else is going to tell you this but you. That's the only reason I said I got myself out of depression because guess what? I realized I was the shit. I realized that it didn't matter where I went. I was the best person in that room. I was the best person in that
I'm
corporation.
okay with not being the best person anywhere, man.
No, just because you're the best that you can be, you're naturally
in your
better.
mind, as long as you loving you,
Oh, I hear you.
Exactly.
You okay.
You're naturally better.
And I had to realize that I need to love me for everybody. If people see me love me, you know how many people flock to me now?
Confidence.
It's the
Confidence
point
is
of
like cologne.
it's but I had to love me first. People can tell my confidence was like this,
Mm.
and it showed until it came like this, and it showed. Now again, I have my days. I had my one day for the year.
She said I had my one day.
Yeah.
I have my one day because I'm still that girl boy. You know, you only gonna get a little emotion out of me. You know, and at that time I couldn't be at home. I had to be at work. So at that time,
You can't control it.
I
Yeah.
couldn't control. I literally couldn't stop crying for
Of course.
shit in the world. Like I tried, but I couldn't, and I didn't know why I couldn't stop crying. But I was going through some stuff. It was just piled on as it, you know. And at the end of the day, everybody goes through things, but it's how you deal with them. And I called my therapist, and we talked, and she. You know your steps. You know what to do. You know, I have steps. I have things that I have to do to get through what I'm going through. So I have to get reminded.
And that's what, so to what you were saying, that's why if I was talking to somebody 15, 20 years younger than me, I would tell them build coping mechanisms. Know when you're losing control.
You
know when
lose
can
control.
Know when you feel it coming
No
on.
matter
Know
how
those
happy you
triggers.
is,
I had to
you
find
have
out what my
triggers.
were.
You
Yeah.
have triggers.
I had to figure out
Yes,
what my
no
triggers
matter
were.
how happy you is, you have
My
triggers.
Yeah.
And you start to lose control. And that's what happened. I started to lose control of what was going on in my life at that time.
Right.
And once I'm a control person about me. So at the end of the day, once I start to lose that,
It's the only thing you felt control over in your life.
Yeah,
Is your life.
I don't even have control. And I'll be honest, I don't even have control of my children. They grown. And at the end of the day, that bothers me, you know, because they out there
I know.
doing what that, because
I get that.
I'm a mother. I'm a mother.
I get that.
And at the end of the day, a mother with her children, I don't care.
You're always going to be a mother. You're always
It's
gonna
just
be a
the
mother.
point. If I can't control their life or what's going on out there with them, it bothers me.
Especially now.
As a father, I would like to say,
I
to all
can't
the
sleep
mothers,
at night.
please-
I have
please
grown
stop calling
boys.
us and telling us what these Negroes are doing. I don't care. They grown. I know you want to try to control them, but I'm not
It's
trying to control them.
hard.
I can't make them do
But
nothing.
even though my kid's not grown
I'm not
yet,
going over there fighting that
but I
Negro.
just feel like that's what my mama taught me. Like once your kid
Mhm.
reaches a certain age and they out your house, you can still call them, give them advice, but at the end of the day, they gonna do whatever they want to do.
I
And you
usually
should
get
not take it personal.
I usually laugh
Never,
at them because I
never.
can see
Should not
not
take
when
it
it's big,
personal.
but the
Never.
small disasters like who you dating. Oh, that's not gonna work out. And I can see it before it even happened to mama. But they
I
mama be
lost
sick.
control.
You lost control, exactly.
Their mama be
Right.
sick. And I'm like, nah, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Watch this. Because I know my child, and that's not going to work out very long. She just got a fat ass.
Speaking of children,
I've been in that situation.
let's
I've been in that
bring up
situation.
children and depression, which I want to talk to you about because how did you cope with your depression and your children? Did you communicate with them, or did you kind of block them out, or how did that go? I just want to
My
know.
babies would never know shit.
Okay,
Like
because they were
with
young.
them, no, see with them, like I want to allow myself to break down in front of them. I want to allow myself to show the weakness to them. Like for me, I gotta be strong for them because they got things that they got going on themselves. Like my daughter with her mom, she got stuff that she got going on herself. So I can't be selfish and be like, all right, I got this going on. Leave me alone. No, come here, baby. I'm going to keep my baby with me. I'm going to do all the stuff we usually do. I'm going to sit there, let her paint my nails. I'm going to sit there, do her hair.
So kids was kind of coping
That probably was
mechanism.
coping. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
really, my kids, with the stuff that I was going through before when I would just come to the bar and sit there and talk to you and all that shit. My kids is the reason that I was able to leave the situation I was in. Let's put it like that. Because I felt like when I was in that situation,
That's a blessing, yeah.
it was hard for me to be there for my babies how I wanted to be there.
Mm.
So that added on to it.
Right.
So, like now, like my son at the house now.
Mhm.
My son had been at my house for down there a month now. Like he always there. Like so, I'm good now. Like I'm actually
That
good.
bring you
Like,
happiness, yeah.
That's another thing that bring me like happiness. It's my baby.
With
My
kids, it's
baby's
easier
very
because you
good.
feel so immediately connected, and you know that their love for you is genuine. It's
Your
difficult with
kids'
other people.
love for you is like no other.
It's genuine. With other
Yeah.
people, it's difficult. I mean, when my kids know me, so it's different. Like, I mean, y'all, like, they know me, and I'm not dismissive. They know when daddy just upset and let him, just sit down and watch TV. And my son does. My youngest child is 12. Just turned 12 December 16th. And he'll come and lay his head in my lap and just go to sleep. Because he know I'm upset about something because I've been sitting around too long. He'll just come and sit there and, you know what I mean? And it's good to have somebody that know you like that. My mama knew me like that, but you know what I mean? It's good
You
to have
right,
somebody that know
Asia.
you like that.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to
What
because she studied going and all, and she
I
like
don't
y'all
see
not
that.
paying attention to us. You right. It is a deeper rooted. I tell you. I see you, though, baby. I see you.
Next week.
I'm gonna talk about it
So many
next
good
week,
points
but
made.
I didn't have the connection with my kids. I got two, and I had to find that.
Did you have postpartum depression?
I did. I suffer from that,
I suffer
and that's
from
why
that, too,
I
from
feel
my
like
youngest
I
son,
cannot have another kid.
Mhm.
Because when I had my son, it took me over the edge. So I don't want to go.
My
Like, were you
youngest
thinking
son, I
crazy,
had
or was
post-
it just you didn't feel connected?
Crazy.
My youngest son, I had
Crazy.
postpartum. My oldest two, because I had them young, I had a lot of help.
Mm.
Okay.
And when my youngest son, I had him with somebody that was his only child. And so he was still running the street. So I was like by myself. He was a mama's boy. So he'd leave and not come home. And I was
See,
stuck
I
with a baby
had
all
help.
the time.
That's how
I
I
didn't
knew
know what to
something
do
was
because my
wrong
oldest two
mentally, yeah.
children, I had my mom, I had my dad, and my stepmom and my sisters. They was all young at the time. I had a lot of help.
Mhm.
And my youngest was the hardest for me. So that's when I went into the postpartum part.
When my daughter, I was young. I didn't know because I had help. But now that I look back on it and I had the same thing with my son, but it was 10 times worse. I'm like, it happened before, but my mama wouldn't let that. It wouldn't even, I didn't
Register.
recognize it. Right. But with my son, it was like kind of hidden back. I'm like, wow. I feel within myself, if I would have recognized it when I was 19, 20, it wouldn't have been as worse when I was 24, 25.
I feel like we don't let people being depressed don't mean you crazy, man.
It's not.
No,
And so I keep. But that's what I'm saying.
it's
So
not crazy. But the things that I was doing,
There's different levels, like you were saying.
It
There's
was
different
very
levels.
crazy.
I think sometimes a thought can be crazy, but I don't think being depressed in and of itself is crazy. Like I said, like I tried to reiterate, it's the way that people process pain different than other people. Some people process pain, they deal with it in the moment, and it's over with. When you're a depressive person, you carrying around a burden, a weight. In the Bible, they call it being equally yoked. You have somebody that's not yoked with the same things that you are. They don't understand what language you're speaking. So what I worry about as family members, we got cousins, and somebody sometime got to speak up for mental health. Mm-hmm. And not in an accusatory way. Right. Like, cut him some slack, he's depressed. Or cut her some slack, she's depressed. And I'm not saying you're supposed to let it last for 20 years and hold the family back, but
all it takes is that. All it takes is saying that sometimes.
When my mama died, I stopped coming on the poetry scene, right? I wasn't coming out kicking it. And I finally came out and saw this girl, and it was 2 years later. And so she was like, I haven't seen you for. I said, well, mama died. Well, that was like 2 years ago, wasn't it? I was like, are you out of your mind?
I was like, so?
That's my
we got an expiration date on deaths? Like, we got an expiration date on grief?
That was my mama. What do you mean? I don't feel like being around y'all. So people be crazy.
But it's real easy to dismiss other people's pain. It's real easy.
Because I just celebrated my mom's 2nd anniversary. Man. Before I'm passing away, and I get that like, you still on that?
Yeah.
Well, let your mama die. Then you tell me how long you
tell nobody how to grieve.
But it's my mama. You talk. It's different though, man. It's my mama.
Right. I can't compare to nobody who lost their parents. I can't because I still got both of mine. So I can say sorry for your loss, but I will never say I know how you feel. That's just what it is. I can't compare to nobody who lost their children because I never lost one of mine. I can't say that. I can't compare to nobody who lost a sibling because I can't compare to that. I can't relate to that. So when people do that, I can't because it's just like, wow, you can't tell nobody how to grieve their parents, their siblings, or their children.
Well, you can't.
I have friends that lost their parents. I'm like, I can sympathize on how you feel, but everybody grieve different. So I can't tell you how to feel. Just because I don't know the relationship that you have.
I was going to say, the relationship make a big difference.
So just because I was messed up, that you could be like, I had a person be like, yeah, my mom died, fuck that. What about that day?
That's front.
No, some people really have bad relationships with their parents.
It's a biological reaction.
I know how me and my
mama disrespectful people to their parents, and I say I would never.
And they go both ways.
How grown I am. I would never.
I'll be like, I sympathize with you, and that's all I can say because I can't say I know how you feel because I don't. Just like you don't know how I feel. I was fucked up.
Yeah, me and my mom was never super close, right? We was my grandmama raised me. Me and my mom was super close. Yeah. It was a bite. Seeing my mom in that box changed me. I can't go back to being who I was before. Right. Once they gone, you only get one. You only get like I can have
that brought you into this world. Who could have aborted
not 800.
Right.
Not 800.
You can have that's a lot of kids. You got 800 kids, but you only get one mama. When she gone, she gone. Yeah. And there's nobody that'll ever understand you like that because part of what was in her is in you.
She carried you.
Right. So it's different. And when it's biological. Even in the animal kingdom. The mama die and the cubs will come back and be around the body the daddy died 3 times over. I remember once they told me
they just walk away
if the food ran out and we was locked in the house that they was gonna eat me before they ate the cat. I said, y'all some whole ass people. We like the cat. Ain't nothing to my face. To my face.
I like him.
To my face though. I was disrespectful. You know what I mean? Disrespectful. To my face. Y'all bogus. Anyway.
I be on YouTube all the time. I seen it. I watch the video.
Yeah. They said they love the cat more.
Yeah.
We gonna stay the cat.
What we gonna do without the cat? What y'all gonna do without me? Oh, you'll be all right. Now y'all eat me. That's not fair.
But this conversation needs to be had.
It did. I loved it.
I love this. I love this.
I felt like the men needs to get their story out because they're not able to talk about it personally. Like y'all probably different because like y'all was able to come here and actually get it out now. So y'all have done some work on yourselves to be able to do this alone. So I applaud y'all for that, and I thank y'all for coming on and being open with us. I appreciate all of it.
I love it.
You know, I don't know if y'all have social media platforms. So if you want to start with your social media platform where people can follow you and
and you can follow me TOPCHEFENT. That's Top Chef ENT. That's Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Clubhouse. Everything is Top Chef ENT. That's my label.
Okay.
You cook?
I do.
Oh, shit.
Mario the Poet on Facebook, and
You owe us a poem.
I got you.
Okay.
Instagram. My poetry blog is www.mariothepoet.wordpress.com. MarioThePoet.bandcamp.com. You can go get my CD of poetry and stuff. Yeah.
Do you have a poem to close us out
I
with?
sure
Okay,
can.
let him do his
Wait,
social
let's
media
try
platform,
this.
and then we gonna have you close us out with a poem.
I got you.
It's Rashawn McCain on Facebook. That's it.
That's it.
Just like me, huh? That's all I got. That's all.
Shit, I'm cooking chicken.
Well,
and
y'all
grits
can follow
40
me
seconds
at
Yeah, he the cook.
yeah. Y'all can follow me on Talking Sheep as Kiana J, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Kiana on Clubhouse. Also, y'all know I have the Clubhouse free podcast on Mondays to get ready for the live podcast. So come in and tune in so you can speak your opinions if you weren't able to tune in. You can also listen to us. If you missed this live, listen to us on all major streaming stations. And Treese, go ahead.
Listen here, y'all know y'all find me on Facebook. Treese Marie. That's all I got.
Right. So he's got to close us with a poem, and then I'm going to say what I got to say, and then we're going to be out.
I was going to do something about depression. I'll just do
Okay.
my pandemic poem.
Okay, go ahead.
It's called Tripping. Only so much time left. And got these mortals believing they'll live forever if they can just hide long enough from death. God's been coming. Trying to expose the light and the difference between being in the kingdom of heaven and just being an Israelite. Might think the sending cures and checks are the exact same thing, but there's a difference between a wedding band and a toilet bowl ring. There was no help coming. We knew how this would end, just never win, just never wear the infection rates and body counts on chyrons. Now everybody cares. Rona will steal your breath. But so will police, promiscuity, and addiction, not to mention all them goddamn hot wings. Truth is, we are helplessly floating out in space, trying to figure out the moon and stars, figure out how it feels to be in God's place. Can't smell or taste nor outrun fate. When your number's up, your date's your date. Just truth and lies. If he dies, he dies. Bassinets to caskets, it was no surprise. It was always going to end this way. Life has a debt of death to pay. Prepare yourself come Judgment Day. You understand the truth and what we say. Okay?
Amen.
Oh my God. I like that.
And that is the end of our show. If nobody told y'all today, I will always tell y'all I love you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Talk to Chief. See y'all tomorrow, Tuesday. Same time, same place. Love you guys. Bye. Deuces.